Hello, in this video I'm going to demonstrate how to start your first assembly for Onshape and for assembling the stool that we've created. For this, Onshape automatically starts us out with an assembly tab below. In this assembly tab, what I would like you to do is click Assembly 1. Okay? Later we'll rename this assembly, but for right now we're just going to start out in this basic space. Okay? You can see that our origin is still visible. We have a new origin. This is a new screen and a new platform to work in. From here up on our ribbon, we have all of our insert mate commands, or all of our mate commands, which lock and mate those pieces together. It's how they fit together, how they're glued together, assembled, fastened. What are you doing to make them hold together? For this, what we first want to do is we want to insert our pieces. So I'm going to click Insert Parts. I'm going to start by just inserting my first stool leg or my lower stool leg. So I'm going to click on that lower stool leg. From here, we can move this around, we can do all kinds of crazy different stuff, but rather than changing this and making it overly complex right now for this simple project, I'm just going to come up and I'm going to click my green check mark. In here, right now, I can drag this around and this is still a free-floating piece. Okay? To get it back, after I just drag it, I'm going to click Control-Z, and it brings it back. I can click Control-Z until it disappears. I can click Control-Y, and it will reappear. Okay, right now it's free floating and we want this to be locked in place so that this is our one consistent, constant piece. So I'm going to right click on this piece and I'm going to click Fix. Okay, now if I try to drag, we get a little symbol on our screen in the middle, on our piece, where this is a fixed part. We can't change this part. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert my second piece. So I'm going to come back up to Insert. I'm going to select my upper stool leg, and I'm going to place this off to the side where I can see it easily. Click my green check mark. Now I have two parts in this assembly. Okay? These are the first two basic parts to our stool. From here, what we're going to do is we're going to do a simple fasten mate. So up on our command toolbar, okay, I can click M for a shortcut key, or I'm going to select the fasten mate. Now I'm going to select the first point for this stool to make sure that it's centered well and that our tolerances and the spaces that we gave this project have that wiggle room that we need. I'm going to zoom in. You can see that as I hover over this, I have different mate points that I can select. For this, I'm going to come into that little slot that we made, and I'm going to find that center point. Okay. From here, I'm going to click on that center point, and it's going to select that as our first mate command, or our mate point. From here, we need to rotate, and I'm going to select the opposite point in our second stool leg, or our upper stool leg. I'm going to come in and find that center point, click once, and they should have made it together. Disappeared from my screen, not a big deal. I'm going to come up to my view orientation cube. I'm going to click that trimetric location, and we can see our pieces. But right now they're flat facing together. We don't want those to be flat faced together. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to select the flip primary axes. Okay, I can try just rotate or reorient second axes, and it may work. In this case, it actually did. So just select reorientate second axis. Okay, so it's spinning that piece 90 degrees. Okay, I can keep spinning it. It's going to spin it 90 degrees again, but we want these pieces 90 degrees to each other so that they're making that X or that plus sign. Once we have this done, go ahead and click your green check mark. I'm going to move back to a trimetric view. I can look at this in a couple different views: isometric, diametric, and trimetric. And we can see that this is connected together in that shape that we want. If I look at this from the top, I'm going to come over to my view orientation cube. If I look at this from the top and I zoom in, I can see a little bit of a gap. There's a little bit of a gap here, actually. If I rotate this so that I'm looking at the front view and I zoom in, we can see there's a slight gap on the right and on the left. Remember, we left this with a 1/16 of an inch larger spacing than the thickness of our material. Because we have that gap, we actually end up with a 32nd of an inch on the left and the right, giving us a little bit of play in case there's any variation in our material thickness. At the end of this video and the end of your assembly, your stool should look like the stool on my screen.